So hey guys, I started playing Altergeist again a little bit recently, and I was just reminded of why and how Altergeist is so damn bad. So for starters, the consistency on this is really bad, and for some other decks, maybe you'd be able to do some text to like help make the engine more consistent. No such thing really exists for Altergeist. Yeah, honestly, if there was just like a pot of greed that Altergeist locked you, you know. Maybe that would be not so bad. Like, draw two cards and what's the exact wording for this conditioning? Uh, you cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect except for Altergeist monsters, except instead of special summon, just make it summon, period. So you can only summon Altergeist cards. And probably needs like one more condition to make it not usable for stun, honestly. But I mean, I have no idea what that would be. Well, yeah. But uh consistency pretty bad, yeah, just in general. So we'll just do a test hand and we'll probably get completely garbage. So we have two copies of personal spoofing, which is soft once per turn, so that might look good, but this hand is completely awful. So let's pretend we do not have Called by the Grave here, right? So Meluseek is a one card combo, but if it gets interrupted by Ash Blossom Joy Spring, exactly, so in this case, called by, well, let's just assume my opponent gammas the graveyard effect of Milliseek, I guess, you know, and that plays around the called by. Now I have nothing to shuffle back with spoofing. So this card is dead. This card is dead. This card, it's Nibiru. This card, called by the grave, we can play with this. So now for me to be able to play, let's assume Nibiru and called by are enough to hold my opponent at bay. So now I need to draw an Altergeist, and luckily I did. But if you do not draw into an Altergeist card, this is really unplayable. So if I drew into Infinite Impermanence, Ash Blossom Joy Spring, Drill and Lock Bird, evenly matched, that's like half my deck almost, it feels like. And we have another copy of Called by the Grave, one for one, which we might not be able to resolve. And depending on how many turns we take to do this, our opponent might have like just an Ash Blossom Joy Spring. And personal spoofing is extra garbage because let's assume we did want to play around the Gamma, and in this case we actually do not have the Called by this time. This shuffles back for cost, so I would have to shuffle back the Meluseek, and then if my opponent has Ash Blossom Joy Spring, I'm now left with once again personal spoofing, Nibiru, and then like one other card, which presumably is not activatable. So personal spoofing. This card sucks ass. Also, this card is not an Altergeist card, so it's not searchable and it cannot shuffle itself back. And once again, shuffles back for cost. Miserable. And because it shuffles back for cost, also worth mentioning is that you can't send, well, not send, shuffle back extra deck monsters for this, so that kind of sucks. So let's say, for example, we use the effect of specifically Adminia. Adminia turns whatever monster you take into an Altergeist monster, so we can't shuffle back something that's very hard to make, but can be summoned from the graveyard. For example, that's something we can't do, which kind of sucks. So one such card that we might want to shuffle back would be Gimmer Ogren, which we just can't shuffle back with this. So consistency, pretty bad, and I'm pretty for the most part maxed out on Altergeist cards, but Multifaker I would consider not a starter or much of anything at all. Kind of just dead card, but honestly, another dead hand. Hope my opponent doesn't have Ash Blossom, right? And this one, our opponent better not have Ash Blossom, I guess, once again. That's about all we can hope for. But with this hand in particular, we can chain block with the Pukri, so normal summon Milliseek, link off for Hextia, and then chain 1, Milliseek, chain 2, Pukri, and then Malwisp, and we are guaranteed to be able to get into Adminia. we can risk a little bit if we make Prime Banshee, I think, but is it a risk? Hextia can do a cert, actually, so maybe it's not that much of a risk, so that's probably fine to do Prime Banshee, because then we can always get into Multi-Faker at least. We just can't really get into Adminia, right? But I guess our opponent could have ashed, technically, the Hextia by this point. So, this combo, pretty decent. So, essentially, how I feel about Altergeist is, it's simply, do I open this one of my 3 copies of Meluseek on the first turn? Uh, yes, no, maybe so. This is actually worse than Vanquish Soul, where you need to pretty much open Rosin, or you arguably can't play the game, because you could have opened Stake Your Soul as well, right? But now we just really need to open Meluseek, and there's no real good way to go about this. And Multi-Faker is honestly somewhat garbage, just right now specifically. So, assuming we are going second and we want to drop evenly on our opponent's board, we can't because Ibly Lock. So, yeah, we can't do like activate evenly, then activate Multi-Faker to like do things. That is simply not going to happen. And then the only one good thing we might be able to do is like Multi-Faker and Imperm. So activate Imperm, summon Multi-Faker. We might be able to manage that. Maybe, right? And that is good. Like, just without a doubt, that's good. Except that doesn't necessarily give you a play if you just open like Multi-Faker, hand traps, and some traps, because Multi-Faker summons Silquatus returns Multi-Faker, then we have no play with our extra deck. We can't do anything with this. Worst case scenario, we are actually going to normal summon Multi-Faker, attack, and then pass the turn back. Yeah, it can be that bad. And also worth mentioning is if we have specifically Manifestation or Revitalization, we can't do anything with these 2 cards with Multi-Fakers, so that's kind of bricked. And then Haunted Rock, that might be bricked as well, but you actually need this to combo with the Marionetter. So that's unfortunate, but that's a garnet you just have to run. Fin Carry is actually optional, so you not play that, but in general, the consistency is really bad, and there's like horrible anti-synergy with just things just all over the place, right? So one of the really bad anti-synergy things we have going here, Multi-Faker, what locks me out of actually using Nibiru. So that's one thing. But also, Multi-Faker locks you out of the rest of your extra deck. And then also, Multi-Faker locks you out of Promethean Princess popping. I think it might be doable if you do the chain order right. Like, if your opponent kind of telegraphs a special summon by activating something like 1-for-1, I think it might be possible. Because this is an if trigger, so it's like, I could do, for example, activate Manifestation or Emulatel, the next chain Multi-Faker effect to special summon. So we can do chain, lower chain Promethean Princess, and then higher chain Multi-Faker to stop Promethean Princess from being special summoned. I think we can do that. But yeah, just in general, all around painful and not very consistent. Well, now to really get into how this is still supposedly a trap deck. The only good thing about Multi-Faker, I'd say, is that this can activate if you activate a continuous trap, and it's not just traps, but it is only your traps. With Trap Tricks cards or Labyrinth cards, those guys trigger when your opponent's traps activate as well, which we do not have that luxury, unfortunately. But yeah. Multi-Faker stops us from using quite a few cards, so Ice Dragon's Prison. We can't play this because this will special summon, without a doubt, a monster that is not going to be a Altergeist card. So if we do that, we're locked out of Multifaker, or Multifaker locks us out of it. Epic. And then we have Daruma Cannon, one of the best traps that we can't play because our deck is like essentially going to be a link deck, and we're going to uh, do some link plays and put up a link in board. So if we activate Daruma Cannon, this is going to out our own board. And our guys being like set face down is not necessarily the best because I'm pretty sure we need to be able to flip them up to be able to send them for cost, or not send, shuffle them for cost. So that sucks, especially when it says it needs to be done from field. So in general, Karma Cannon, it's not going to do you that many favors, considering it outs your own board and all. So that sucks. If we are looking at Trap Trick, we only want to be running one copy of Manifestation, Revitalization, and we have no actual normal traps for the most part, aside from these two. So, yeah, that's not too good either. And I guess also worth looking at is Revitalization. You can only use one effect of Altergeist Revitalization per turn for some reason. Not sure why that would ever matter, but for whatever reason, Altergeist Manifestation, you can activate the first effect however many times you want, and then the second effect, the one here, where you can bash this to target Altergeist trap in your graveyard, add it to your hand. That is the effect that we can only activate once per turn. And then I guess we have Altergeist Veil over here. If another card or cards you control is destroyed by opponent's card effect, you can special summon an Altergeist monster from your hand. And then this can add an Altergeist monster in your graveyard to your hand. So both effects are hard once per turn here. So, pretty weird. And then this is also hard once per turn, right? On both parts of this. Yeah, and you need to send an Altergeist monster from your hand to the graveyard, and then you need to send a second one for Haunted Rock, which is unbelievably awful. So, if we think about this, like, without having combo, we would have to set Haunted Rock, send a card, so I don't know, send Multifaker, I don't really care. And then we have to send another card from hand, so send Malwisp from hand. Great. That sucks. And then also worth mentioning is Malwisp is just a brick that you have to run at too, because you can only summon from the deck. So if Malwisp, like your only copy of Malwisp is in the hand, your combo doesn't work. So yeah, that sucks. And we can't really afford the same luxury to also play 2 copies of Haunted Rock. Because honestly, this card is trash. And we can't set from hand, right? With the Marionetter? No. So that also sucks. And I believe there are also a bunch of other traps that we can't play because, you know, Multifaker. The one thing that you can play, I guess, Skill Drain. On the bright side, you're fine under Skill Drain. You're not fine under Gozen, but you're fine under Rivalry as well. So these guys are all spellcasters, but they're, for the most part, different attributes, right? So you can play under Skill Drain with Protocol. And then you can also technically play Secret Village because these guys are spellcasters. And yeah. Altergeist. Well, you have no like super good consistency. You have no like good anything for the most part. Your grind game is kind of good. If you can set up your full end board, it's pretty decent, I guess. So with just a 2-card combo, you can get like I don't know the exact amount, something dumb like 4 or 3 spell trap negates, maybe more. And then you get bounce back a card, monster negate as well. But that's a very specific 2-card combo, so it requires you to open something like, um, I believe it's probably going to be uh, Multi-Faker with Marionetter? No, that doesn't sound right. Probably Meluseek and Marionetter then. Or is it? No, wait, it's not a 2-card combo, it's probably a 3-card then. Well, yeah. I guess also worth mentioning is that Meluseek is a 1-card combo, which is true, but the 1-card combo here, the problem with this is what it ends on is not great. That well, yeah. So this is your only 1-card combo, and you have like some 2-card combos. So we can open like Marionetter, Meluseek, Marionetter, uh, Kukri, I think, is a combo. It's not like the best combo, but does something. Marionetter plus Multi-Faker, I believe, is actually a combo as well. I'm only running 1 Multi-Faker, but even if we had 3 copies of Multi-Faker here, it does nothing with Meluseek, so Meluseek plus Multi-Faker does nothing. Maoist Multi-Faker does nothing. Kukri Multi-Faker does nothing. Paratrader with Multi-Faker does unsurprisingly nothing. A lot of your cards just don't have the synergy that they'd be doing anything with. And yeah, this hand here is one of the ones where we clearly have no goddamn synergy. If we get Ashed here, we're cooked. And then next card, luckily it's an Altergeist card. This one's not an Altergeist card. Yeah, Altergeist card, not Altergeist card. So it's like a 50-50 or worse of drawing into an Altergeist. So you have the ability to shuffle back with spoofing, pretty much. So yeah, that is indeed pretty damn miserable. And I don't think you have a way to stop yourself from decking out either, right? So spoofing shuffles back, but it also adds a card, so deck out inevitable. But it has like somewhat decent grind, I guess. That's about all I can say. So yeah, Altergeist, pretty fun deck and all, but right now you'd be suffering pretty hard playing Altergeist. So if I were to make some changes to this list, I think we might be able to drop down Protocol to 2 copies if we want. And spoofing, honestly, I don't know. However many copies of spoofing you feel like playing, you just play them. Multi-Faker, honestly, you can play Multi-Faker at whatever number, it doesn't really matter. There are benefits to higher counts of Multi-Faker, lower counts of Multi-Faker, because the only combo you can do turn 1 with Multi-Faker is specifically Multi-Faker Marionetter. Because if we were to activate something like, I don't know, a Shade Brigandine, yeah, that's about all I can think of being able to activate. I don't know, let's say we activate that, then we special summon Multi-Faker. That doesn't really do a whole lot for us. It just special summons Multi-Faker, and also I guess worth mentioning is every single Altergeist extra deck monster can only use all Altergeist monsters as material. Except for Dragvarion, which is for some reason generic. Not that this realistically matters, right? So, yeah. Maybe there's something you can do with this and layer, because this is when this is tributed, right? I don't think there's a layer stat line for like, or not layer, one of the virus cards. So let's see the stat line for this: 2,500 or more, 1,000 or less. Nope. 2,000 or more defense. It has lower than that. Grinning Grave Virus you could activate. Deck Devastation. We can activate this as well, I suppose. Not like super amazing necessarily, but you know, it is what it is. So I think my recommendation is probably to just throw in like 3 copies of Darkhold. That's probably your best bet. But yeah, in terms of hand traps, I don't think there's like that much you can do either, because the engine requirements are pretty hefty with all the cards you kind of have to run. I think we can drop some protocols and drop some copies of spoofing, but then the consistency is like even worse. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.